What about code generation? When you're presenting a model of the grid, you're presenting a model of, I think, these monster grids that we have almost everywhere. Now, there's a European standard, for example, for 95% energy efficient housing.
Yes.
When we were in Istanbul, we noticed that the water was mostly heated there by things on the roof. In Melbourne, solar panels all over the place.
Yeah, there is a technology called a passive house technology, and it's absolutely amazing, and it's not costly. Basically, what happens is you build an extremely efficient thermal envelope on your house, and then you've got a heat exchanger whereby cold air coming in exchanges with warm air in the house, and the cold air is warmed, and it operates at 85% efficiency. And believe it or not, houses that are really well built, that are to passive house standards, will be able to provide a comfortable environment in fairly cold winter conditions based on solar radiation coming through windows in combination with heat that's just naturally present in the house from appliances and from the occupants of the house. So you got 3 big dogs running around, they're going to keep you warm. and so to go further to your question, in Europe, as of 2020, all new buildings must be to zero emission standards, and in California, the same type of standards are coming into place. If you then add solar collectors on top of your building, you can get a positive energy building that actually will contribute to the grid.
Dave, I just wanted to add that you mentioned the passive house. People are curious, as an example, on the corner of McKinnon and Temperance, a local resident, Holly Ann Knott, has retrofitted and built a house.
Not retrofitted.
Oh, okay,
New
build.
Yeah.
And that's an example. I'm sure you just can't walk in and look around, but on occasion they've allowed tours. It's a duplex, and on one side of the duplex it's not yet inhabited.
And that house is to passive house standards. I actually talked with the engineer, and they're going to achieve that. In very, very cold climates like this one, what you'll put is a small electric heater in line with your heat exchanger to give you a little bit of a boost, but it still must meet these very low energy efficiency standards to get that passive house certification. And what should happen, and actually almost must happen, is building codes globally should advance to passive house standards, such as what California and Europe are doing. And here's the interesting part. Those houses are not terribly expensive to build. Right now, it's projected they're just about 5% higher in terms of upfront cost. You get that money back very quickly by lower energy costs to heat your home. And this is without a lot of standardization of building materials, which will all happen. And the reason these houses are relatively cheap is they're so simple. You don't have an air conditioning unit in it. You don't have central heating with all the ventilation and piping and stuff. All that is removed. You don't have the big furnace in the basement. David, you got anything to say about that? Actually, I'm looking at a gentleman who works in building controls, and this is almost maddening. There are certain things that are just low-hanging fruit out there, and one of them is reconfiguration of building control systems. There's a study that said that the payback is within 1 year to just go in, reconfigure and update building control systems, make them more efficient, and almost immediately you get a payback in terms of lower energy costs. So to drive that, legislation has to come, because people they just sit back, they're not aware of it, they're reluctant to make that upfront payment, but it makes a lot of sense.